What I love most about working at UMass Boston, and especially in the McCormick Graduate School, is that we are here for two purposes. We're here to discover, and we're also here to form and forge solutions. We discover how the world works and why, but we also venture into this area that very few schools do, of finding solutions and even trying them out with policymakers at the local level, at the national level, and at the global level.
My field of research is political violence in general, and since 2005, when I was recruited by Aberystwyth University in the UK, which is the oldest school of international relations in the world, I was recruited there to set up a centre for the study of terrorism. More broadly, however, my interests in political violence extend over into the whole business of the human cost of political violence, and particularly looking at casualty counting and also auditing the impact of political violence on populations.
Area of my research is in looking at grassroots peace building endeavors and conflict contexts, mostly in Israel-Palestine, and in particular peace building efforts that are related to education in some way. I do a lot of work around encounters between groups in conflict zones, primarily Jews and Palestinians in Israel.
Most of my academic work, research work, has had to do with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I'm into a new area that's been growing over the last few years for me, and that is conflict within healthcare. It's also an area that is very important for national policy, the way in which conflict influences cost, influences the quality of medical judgments that doctors make, influences the way patients feel that they are or are not being well treated, which, considering the size of the healthcare industry in this country and its impact on all of us, is a major piece. And so I'm doing research now on particularly focusing on doctor-patient, one could call it doctor-patient conflict.
I work in the area of environment. My main research questions are concerning institutions. I look at the institutions and governance in the environmental arena, mostly at the global level. So what I'm trying to figure out is how the institutions are performing, why, and what can be done about it so that they can perform better.
So this semester I've just come back from Pakistan, where I was invited to deliver a course alongside some of my colleagues that I spoke about earlier in critical terrorism studies to the security and military community in Pakistan. So we were talking to army generals and ranking military officers, as well as some of the people in the security and intelligence work in Pakistan. And we were talking about approaches to terrorism and counter-terrorism in particular. We were taken to Pakistan to talk to the military and to the intelligence and security community about alternative ways of looking at counter-terrorism. What kinds of things can we implement? What kind of policies can we put in place to make the world a safer place? But also, how do we address violence?
So studying conflict resolution is a relatively new idea, but not thinking about conflict and its resolution. After all, politics is a conflict resolution mechanism. Law is a conflict resolution mechanism. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, there was a concern that many of those techniques, while important and useful, left out what one might call the micro approach. That is, it's one thing to talk about a legal system, it's another thing to talk about negotiating within that system. It's okay to talk about politics, it's another thing to talk about what does a mediator do within that system. And so conflict resolution came along with a somewhat smaller focus on the particular skills and tools that might be used in particular conflicts. And so the field is now moving back in the direction of trying to integrate the context, which is the larger world around, the religious context, the political context, with the history.
It is very rare that you will have a group of faculty who are so engaged with their students that they go out with them to the local community, to the international stage, We present together, we research together, we engage with policymakers together. All of our endeavors are very closely connected, and the student-faculty research enterprise here is very solid and transdisciplinary.